What's up, guys? Back at it again. Opex, the anarchist, is back with his big beard. Does he have short hair or long hair? It's pretty freaking long. It's just wet and slicked back. We got another video for you again today. I want to talk about censorship. I want to talk about there are plenty of things that are out in the media now that are trying to delude information, and rather not only delude information, but make sure people have the misinformation rather than the real information. Of course, truths can be divisive. Truths can really annoy people or bother people or anger people, right? And it can also set you free. Censorship. Let's dive into it. You already know I've made videos in the past. I've been very blatant and upfront about how I feel about censorship. A freedom of speech guy, clearly an anarchist. Clearly, I don't want anyone to tell me what's real and fake based on propaganda. Now, I'm not somebody that tells you to even look at propaganda. I'm telling you to turn off your TV and all of that. Now, your Facebook, we're well under the assumption that Facebook is monitoring us, looking at different things we post, and have third-party fact-checkers, or how I like to call it, paid to say it's false, you know, because they're definitely getting paid. These are independent, voluntary people that are fact-checking. These are people that are paid to produce misinformation and certain types of information and biases. One of these being, let's say, when the coronavirus came out, and there were people talking that in the vaccine was supposed to be it was similar to HIV. And the fact checkers, when I posted all this stuff, because of course I'm trying to give my family and friends proper information, the post said HIV-like virus, which is an RNA altering, genetic altering virus, right? So HIV alters the RNA. Now, of course, as you already know, especially watching my channel, or you just quick look at what these vaccines are supposed to do, of course, we already understand that it's an RNA vaccine, which HIV vaccines were supposed to be the first RNA vaccines, but they decided against it, right? Now, all of a sudden, yeah, you take your RNA vaccine. Why did you tell me it was false? It's an RNA vaccine. It alters your RNA, it affects your immune system, and it affects your DNA. RNA directly affects your DNA. And of course, RNA can repair. However, DNA cannot. So let's think about that for a second. You're altering your genetics into an irreversible effect. Fact checkers, maybe study virology and understand what the hell you're talking about before you just say, no, this isn't an RNA vaccine. This has nothing to do with HIV. It's the exact same thing. It affects your immune system where now you're comparable to other diseases. Oh, they don't want you to know that. Why? Fuck censorship. We could have saved so many lives if we just told them the truth. Is this about saving lives? When they say, this coronavirus vaccine already saved 3 million lives or whatever, they're bullshit telling you it's a lie because they've already murdered well over that. So how did you save that many lives if you've already murdered multiples of that many times? Doesn't make any sense. And so the problem with these fact checkers is that they're going to tell you that this vaccine is safe, but then the real information is, if that vaccine is safe, then how the hell did... Okay, yeah, you had your coronavirus. You take the vaccine, you have those effects because the antibodies, your body's working up an immunity to those antibodies. Of course, you do have those protein cells and those amino acids for the spike. It's not an actual virus. There's no virus in this vaccine. However, it's creating antibodies, and those antibodies are affecting your immune system. Of course, this is an RNA vaccine. So, of course, think of it just like HIV, which would be the other RNA vaccine. If you took your RNA vaccine and it totally crippled your immune system, of course, maybe that itself didn't kill you, just like AIDS doesn't kill you. It's the compromising of the immune system, which gives you susceptibility to other problems. This would be pneumonia or what you name it. You know, when you have a compromised immune system, the very first thing that you should consider is how to prevent other pathogens or other bacteria, viruses, other microorganisms that are going to harm you out of your body, because they're going to wreak havoc because you don't have an effective immune system. Okay, fact checkers, fact check that one. Oh, you can't because you've never studied virology. You have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, let's dive into other things. Why I hate censorship. So, if there's specific information or biases or information propaganda that is designed to trigger responses. David Icke has always talked about the problem, reaction, solution. Of course, that's a very, very notable method that they use because they use it everywhere. They used it in 9/11, coronaviruses, etc. They use it everywhere. Where they have a problem. Let's say someone, there was an airplane that went through a trade center building and knocked it down. Demolished it, essentially, right? Demolished it through an airplane. Melting steel beams at the base. Anyways, but you can already see the biases of information and things they want you to know. Because if you did know that 9/11 was an inside job, you may not trust them. George Carlin once said it. Rule number 1, I do not trust anything the government ever tells me. Ever. Look, government's job is one of 3 things, right? Control, which is their main objective, and they do so in many different facets, generally through the use of writing words on paper and convincing the public to do it. What if I wrote, every second born has to die? Has to die, can't live till the age of 3. You have a 3-year window to murder your child. If you do not murder it, then you are going to be going to prison, and I'm going to take your kid and murder him anyways. And your firstborn's going to go into a foster care program. If I wrote that on a piece of paper, how well are you, how apt are you to obey that? You're not. Because you have a conscience, you have a moral compass, and you have the ability for responsibility in understanding. Responsibility to understand what's going on. And if you obey what I wrote on a piece of paper, no matter how much harm it does to your family, then why? Why are you doing it? You know it's harmful. Is it because the government's powerful? Is it because of consequences of disobeying the government? Why do you end up obeying? Why? Disobey. Disobey. It is your duty not only to disobey unjust laws, it's your duty. Look, mandatory masks. It's your duty not to wear one if you deem it harmful to society, to others, to yourself, to others. It doesn't matter. If you deem it immoral and harmful, maybe even more than harmful, like a detriment to society, a complete overriding of economy, to depopulation of the world, to whatever. I mean, you know, once the government has full control over its people, Stalin, Mao, Hitler, they've murdered all their people. That is the design, that is the goal of government. Control, murder, and theft. Control, murder, and theft. If you can come up with something outside of those realm of control, murder, and theft, then tell me. Because I have been begging to find a 4th thing that government does. Another branch of government, as I like to put it. Because I like to call it as 3 branches of government. Control, murder, and theft. And a lot of times that control method is through murder and theft, right? It's through coercion. It's through consequences or threat. So people obey. So how does government become to the point of power. How does government become power? Well, they convince the people that they are saving them some way or another. This would be the threat of an external foreign force. This would be China has a big scary force, and if we don't have an army or a government to protect us, what are we going to do? So we give our power. This would be the whatever rights you deem. I don't believe in rights; they don't exist. No matter what somebody wrote on a piece of paper, they don't exist in reality, right? Doesn't matter what laws put on a piece of paper; it doesn't exist in reality. Does not exist in reality. We have convinced ourselves of it, right? And we act accordingly based on delusions or consequences, rather than moral compasses or what's really important in life or what is really safe or harmful in life. It is not based on those things. It's based on direct results of consequence from the powers that be. So you're scared to go to prison. You don't want to go to prison because you might have a family to take care of. And who's going to take care of your family if you're in prison? It might be like, for example, for me, I don't want to go to prison. I have livestock. I have gardens. I have family. I have dreams, ambitions, goals. I don't want to be stuck in prison, right? So we avoid doing the moral things or the just things or the freedom things that we would normally enjoy, our prosperity. We can't enjoy those things if government exists, if it's in place. Now, I know I went off on a tangent there. I hope I didn't lose you guys. Let's continue down the road of censorship. Again, I've made videos on censorship before, so it's not nothing new, so I'm not maintaining that flow of censorship. I'm just showing you biases, censorships, propaganda that is designed to get you on board with new policy. So let's dive into, let's continue on the path of social media. Now, Google, as years ago, like when I was in the truck, I would tell you guys, okay, well, I remember telling you guys, Hillary for president was a huge thing in the anarchist world, or even the right-wing world, I would say. It was big. It was big. Hillary for president. She has way too big a track record not to have her go to prison. However, she doesn't go to prison because she has a different set of rules that apply to her rather than the slaves, aka citizens, that are you and I, those documented slaves, with birth certificates and social security card numbers and etc. Right? Hillary can't go to prison for anything because she's above that law. She is not a citizen. She is not a slave. So when we look at the evidence of Hillary for president, we're all like, okay, she should be in prison. There's well enough information from deleted emails to Benghazi to etc. Right? We can go on all day why she should probably be in prison. This warmonger, this person who sells uranium to people that are trying to murder us because she wants a profit, and her corporation essentially and foundation and business partners all want profits, which is hurting the American people, the American prosperity, etc. And she belongs in prison. Long story short, you Google Hillary for president at its height on Google, you won't find it on the first page. You won't even find it on the second page. During its height when she ran for president, when everyone was on board with trying to get her in prison. Henry Kissinger, you name it, all those people that are warmongers. Bill Gates, how many has he murdered through the use of vaccine through his government or his company Gavi? How many people has he murdered through Gavi? He had murdered hundreds of thousands of children throughout the world years ago. Well known. India tried to try him. India couldn't try him because he's invincible. He's untouchable. You know why? Because laws don't apply to him. Laws don't apply to Hillary for prison. And when you Google search it to come up with information, whether factual or not, it is censored so you can't even look it up. So the objective for censorship would be to dismember the mind of information like that. Hillary shouldn't be president. She's a goddess. She could have been the first female president. She could start a new war in Albania. I don't know, right? So the point is I'm getting at is that censorship was an important role in making sure that she ran for president. It was great for her lobbyists. It was great for the people that invested money into her. And it was really great for the powers that be to showcase that she's invincible. Invincible comparative to slaves. Now, the reason I'm bringing up Google is I want you to de-platform Google. De-Google your phone. De-Google your computer. Take Google and everything associated with Google. I want you to just Google, de-Google. Hopefully you can find something. I don't know. I've never Googled de-Google, but I've been following people who de-Googled their phone, and now all of a sudden, Google has no access to their accounts. Google, and of course, if you hack Google, you're going to hack millions of accounts. Google has no access to your accounts when you de-Google it. They have no information on where you are. Now, this is if you were like on an Android phone, let's say, rather than Apple. You can't de-Google Apple. I mean, you can, but Apple still has full control over where you are at all times, tracking you, tracing all your payments, information, etc., right? What you do, what you buy, etc. What you say, what you think. That's all being put into a fucking database. So, de-Google your phone and you start seeing that you have freedom. They aren't able to track you. They aren't able to track your whereabouts, who has your phone, etc. So really look into de-Googling, because that's a huge aspect of reducing the censorship and increasing your freedoms. 2, let's say YouTube, right? YouTube censors me, censors a lot of people. They don't censor me as much as somebody with more viewers, but they censor me to reduce viewers, right? Now, I get that I don't have an entertaining channel. I get that, right? I get that 95% of people are going to say, this channel sucks. He's talking too much, and he's not entertaining in his thoughts, or whatever, right? However, I'm being very intellectual with my thoughts. I'm being very wise with my thoughts, which is an attractant to 95% of people. So, of course, there's that aspect. But on top of that, they're making sure that you can't find my channel unless you went through an avenue of trucking. No one I have found has said, I found your channel because of your video on living off the grid. Never happened. I found your channel because of your views on anarchy. No one's found my video because of my anarchy content, right? No one's found that. Anarchists can't find my shit, right? They're trying to censor the ability of thought, of speech. So start finding those people that they're censoring, because there's valuable information, because they wouldn't want to censor you otherwise, right? If you had some dumb information or some propaganda information, they don't censor you. In fact, they give you limelight. They give you a spotlight. They make sure that you are found, not only on YouTube, but on the internet, because Google and YouTube are basically the same thing. Get off YouTube, because there are other sites, other video developers and people that watch things on things like BitChute. BitChute would be an off-brand or a type of YouTube where they don't censor your information. They don't censor you. And if you don't want to be censored, go to some place like BitChute. Now, of course, that's designed to go against the grain, but everyone's on YouTube, right? Imagine if everyone from YouTube went to BitChute, where they're not censoring your information, where they're making sure that your platform is a forefront. If you searched anarchy in BitChute, someone like me is going to show up telling you about taxation is theft, and that government is immoral, and that your life should be based on morals and responsibility towards those morals and your understanding and philosophy of life. Because the revert of your responsibility of your own consciousness and your decisions and your ideas, you're responsible for that. And if you give that to someone else, what happens? The government's going to tell you what's moral and whether you should take a vaccine or not, because you're too dumb to think for yourself. And if you're too dumb to think for yourself and you're using the logic from the people that control, murder, and steal from your loved ones and your family, making sure that you can be in poverty the rest of your life, making sure that you cannot be prosperous, you want those people telling you what you can think and what you cannot think? Look, when there are people telling you, censoring information that can save lives, censoring information that can really help the average person to become more freedom thought, to become more powerful in your approach. What have I been telling you guys? Responsibility, become an alpha male, take care of yourself, turn off your TV, become your greatest version. Because if you become your greatest version, it doesn't matter what the government tells from you, asks of you. You know because of dealing with that information. Experience. You understand because of your responsibility in your own life. Right? If you don't have responsibility in your own life, that is awarded to someone else, specifically government, but could be in the role of your priest. It could be in the role of your teacher. Whatever, right? The dean of your college. It could be someone else. And the reason why I'm saying to be taking information into your own hands and avoiding the censorship is because when you are avoiding censorship, more information is played in the mind, more that you can put into different categories and placements in your minds. You can compartmentalize this stuff as real or false, or real with the possibility of being false. Watch my video on, what did I name that video? Storing information. I don't know what I named that video. But anyways, you can store things in your brain properly based on real evidence rather than what somebody told you. See, if you're taking somebody told you something as all-knowing truths, you don't know that thing enough. Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't know it enough. I'm going to tell you right now, this as well applies, because if you can't explain something and have all the reasoning, why, yes, no, pros, cons, etc., if you don't know all those things, if you can't explain it simply, if you can't distinguish reality and fiction, it's a direct result on censorship and people telling you what to think and how to think. Not how to think, because you don't learn how to think, you learn what to think. You're supposed to learn that equality is key. Certain people are being, certain groups of people based on gender or color of skin are being systematically, I don't even get it, because we all are, right? Government is a trickle-down effect that's affecting everyone. White, black, female, male, you name it. It's affecting everyone. Everyone that's a slave. And that's, again, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, female, male, transgender. It's affecting everyone. Government policy doesn't say, this is going to affect white people and not brown people. It doesn't say that anywhere. And also, when a police officer is to evaluate a scene, they're not going to avoid shooting a white male versus a black male if the white male has a gun. They're not going to be like, well, he has a gun and he's very dangerous, so I'm just going to avoid this situation altogether. I don't know. I don't know what people think. But it's based on propaganda because you're not thinking. That's the problem. You're not thinking. And that's why I like my channel. It's because it is designed to help you think. It's not designed to me regurgitate all my feelings about certain situations and my opinions. Because fuck that. I don't give a fuck about my opinion, let alone your opinion, let alone anyone's opinion. Don't give a fuck. I give a fuck about evidence and your reasoning on top of that evidence. And do you have logic? That's what I care about. Because if you don't have those things, then you're not able to distinguish things. So who cares about censorship at that point? If you are smart enough to understand reality, censorship shouldn't matter. However, censorship matters to people who don't think for themselves. If they look up information online and say that information is true or false because I read it, that's not reality. Reality is actually going through that experience. Reality is actually looking through different objectives, different variables, different types of ideas. Because you can't just say, let's just say a colored TV is better than a black and white TV. You can't just say that. That's an opinion. Because black and white TVs might have had more definition, right? Could have, depending on the... It's like when you go out and buy a car. Do you just go out and buy the most expensive one, or do you look at reliability, safety, effectiveness? I can't think of the word. Anyways, the point is I'm getting at is that look at different variables, different things that affect that. If you went out and bought a vehicle, you're going to look at different things that are going to be more applicable to you. Do you want to spend... Is this a gas guzzler? Is this a diesel vehicle? There's a million things that go into purchasing a vehicle for you. You can't just say somebody else likes a Audi, blah, 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 this specific thing, and you're going to like it. You can't do that because what applies to someone else may not apply to you. Someone might have a peanut allergy, so they don't want to eat this specific food, but you might love that specific food. You know what I'm getting at? So opinions do not matter. Do not matter. Somebody else's opinion matters only if it relates to you, right? So let's say, well, this person is lactose intolerant, right? And this person can't have milk. So therefore, I'm lactose intolerant, and this person likes almond milk. So therefore, I'm going to like almond milk. Doesn't work like that. And that's why you got to look at different variables and different things. That's why I don't like censorship. It's not necessarily for personal understanding of the world around me, because I have that ability. I don't need somebody to tell me what to think. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need somebody to comment down below to say I'm wrong about something or right about something, because I have really thought about this for years. Years, buddy. So your little 2-second comment down below about some bullshit, the vaccine is... Okay, well, I do want you to tell me if I'm wrong, why I'm wrong. I do want that. But there's a huge chance that you're going to comment an opinion, something less likely to manifest from reality, more to do with misunderstandings, which I love to call it delusion, because that's what it is. You're being deluded. And if you have a censorship program in your country or in the world designed to have different types of propaganda, different types of variables to further their progression of their control, murder, and theft, whether that's government, corporation, all of the above, there are people that plot and plan ways to control the world. This is world economy. This is controlling the world. People meet in secret. This could be the Bilderberg Group. This could be people meeting at Bohemian Grove. This could be a million different things. But there are people in this world that control the world. They have different ideas of how they want their economy to go. They want to weed out small businesses. How are we going to do this? We got Billy Gates and Gavi to give them $400 billion to murder more people and to mutate our genetics, possibly making sure that we do not breed. It's one of my hypotheses is when you put things together and you understand why they're doing this and you know it's a depopulation agenda, it's very hard to not think that the obvious thing is that they're trying to make sure that we're sterile and not able to have children. That's one thing. And that's why when you see these older gentlemen, like the Dr. Fauci's, that put some substance in their arm, whether that's a vaccine or not. And don't get me wrong, I'm not pro or anti-vaccine in the sense of vaccines, right? I'm not pro or anti it. I'm not. That's an opinion. I'm more apt to the effectiveness. What does it do? If you get a drug and you're looking on TV and that drug says can cause death, can give headaches and serious illnesses and blah, 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 and it's supposed to fix minor cramps or something, right? Something that barely affects you. It's like a minor inconvenience, but the possibility for way more inconveniences, let alone death or other harm. Would you take that? Well, a logical thinker would say, no, that's ridiculous. I mean, you don't even take a pill for it. Why would you take an Aleve for a migraine? If you're a rational thinker, if you understand how drugs work, you would say no, because now I'm going to be more apt to have headaches, because what this does is what goes up must come down, right? We all know this about drugs, if you know about drugs. If you did a whole night of cocaine, yeah, when you're on it, you're crazy, right? Then you build up that tolerance because your body's fighting it off, right? And you're never able to get to that high again. And when you're off of it, you're feeling really low. It's really affecting your body in different ways. And a cokehead, because they want that good feeling, they're not thinking about all those lows. If all you want is your headache to go around or to go away in that moment, I just want my headache to go away. So you take your pills, Tylenol, Aleve, acetaminophen, whatever it is. If you're taking these drugs, well, what's going to happen in the next day? Well, what goes up must come down. Those things that are suppressing the feelings of those is preventing your body from fixing that problem. It's the same thing when I tell you I stopped wearing chapstick, putting on chapstick, and all of a sudden I've never had chapped lips the rest of my life. After a month of not having chapstick or whatever it is, couple weeks. I never had chapped lips the rest of my life, but I always had chapped lips. Reason being is because I always had chapstick. So if I keep applying this, my body's not fixing it. The drug is altering how my body operates and how it functions. So, if you are going to be doing... I don't know why I brought that up now. But the point is, you wouldn't be taking this if you want to fix your headache. You stop the headache. What is causing headaches? Everything in life has a cause and effect. And you need to distinguish these things, experience these things, consider this information, all the variables that go along with it. Is it just this pill? Is it the amount of sugar I'm intaking? There's a million things that go into a diet. What goes into consumption? Are you smoking? Are you drinking? Are you exercising? Are you drinking pH'd water? Lower, more acidic water is going to create way more harm, way more cancerous effects. Right? There's a million variables that go into why you have a headache. And if you add a pill on top of that, A, you're not fixing the headache, because you're always going to have headaches because you never fixed why you have a headache. 2, your body's going to be less able to fight off headaches or to stop headaches in its tracks because you're constantly putting in this pill, which is suppressing your body's ability to function properly or to create chemicals in the body and create antibodies in the body. And basically your immune system, your ability for your body to fight off things, right? And to heal and regenerate and to fight off all those cancer cells. Look, if you have one lollipop, right, one sucker, and it's just one sucker, you have literally created cancer in your body. You have that little amount of sugar created cancer in your body. Your body has to fight that off. Why add a vaccination? Why add drugs that are going to harm your body? Greatly harm your body. Now, of course, they don't want this information out. Everything I've said in this video, they want to censor. Everything in this video, they want to censor. They don't want you knowing anything I just fucking said right now in this 36 minutes. They don't want you knowing this shit. They don't want you knowing anything I've ever said on my channel other than my trucking stuff, right? Which is still a little bit out there for trucking, right? The point that I'm getting at is that if censorship is diluting our brains, if we're constantly looking at different screens and getting dumber and our abilities to think for ourselves dwindle, how are you ever going to stop them? How are you going to ever save your business, your small business, from going under when there's people that are billionaires that meet in secret trying to take you out of the equation? When the government gives you $600 in a stimulus check, but gives $400 billion to Gavi, aka Bill Gates, for murdering people. $400 billion to murder you. To murder you. That's what it's designed for. There's no other reason. I mean, Bill Gates out of his mouth said, if he's really good with his use of vaccines, he can cut the world's population 10 or 15%. Look, guys, when you put real information together, you connect dots, it's kind of hard to not obviously come up with depopulation. They're clearly depopulation, controlling the population. They're making sure that the old folks get the fuck out of here. Lose your love to the old folks. That's where it starts. They've already lost your love towards babies. They've already, for some reason, convinced you that babies are ugly and they take up resources and there can be a lot of work. And you don't want that in your life. You don't want to be of love and taking care of someone and having responsibility. You don't want that. They've already convinced you to go to Planned Parenthood. Now they're convincing you, put your fucking grandma in a nursing home and watch her die. Make sure she takes that vaccine, which is going to greatly hurt her immune system. It has greatly hurt everyone's immune system who has taken this vaccine, because that's what it's designed to do. And two, when you have been manipulated by this information or the censorship of saying that life is going to get back to normal after a vaccine, which isn't even told to you. That's propaganda. It's delusion. They have never, ever came up and said, if you all take a vaccination, you can all go back to work without masks. You can all start your jobs again. We will give you extra money for startup businesses. Do they give a fuck about you? No. And that's the reality of it. They don't give a fuck about you if they're giving $400 billion to the people that are trying to murder and make you sick. They want you docile, asleep. They want you stuck on a screen looking for entertainment. Constantly. What video game to play? What female is hot in the OnlyFans? Or whatever they're doing these days. See, they want you enveloped into something that is artificial. This would be the virtual world. right? Virtual reality, which isn't real, guys. This is concepts based on vision. This is like thoughts, right? This is like a thought. Just because you have thought something doesn't mean it's real, right? Like we all can picture a unicorn in our head. Doesn't mean it's real. So it doesn't matter what picture they put in your head. They're trying to murder first the old people. They're the ones with the retirement plans, the 401ks, the money that the government wants. Right? They want that money, so they're trying to murder off the old people. Who did Hitler go for first? The Jews, right? There was a tiny minority of the population, just like our elderly is the tiny minority of the population. They are more of a detriment to society, or rather to government. Because that's money that the government can have, right? Stop paying these fucking old folks who aren't working or doing anything to contribute to society in these days. They did when they were younger, but not in these days. So they're worthless. And part of that is giving up our hearts. If you put your loved one in an old folks home, that wasn't a loved one. Sorry, guys. That was not a loved one. You didn't love them. Because if you loved them, you wouldn't have tried to put them away. You wouldn't have tried to put them in the hands of somebody else to drug and vaccinate. Weaken their immune system, spread it throughout like wildfire across the retirement home or the old folks home or the nursing homes. You're trying to murder off the old folks. They're the ones with the pension plans. And that's obvious to me. Not obvious to someone who is in a constant state of looking for entertainment. If you're not adding stressors into your life, if you're not working in some fashion or another for the majority of your day, you don't understand reality because you are not striving to become your greatest version. You're striving to get a laugh. You're striving to be entertained, which is a sense of docileness, right? Because if you're looking at a TV screen and just staring at that TV screen, you're in a zombie state. Straight up. You're in that zombie state, and that zombie state is not adding any beneficial elements into your life. It is hurting you. Watch my video, get out of your entertainment zone, get out of your comfort zone. I've made plenty of videos like this, right? So the reason why a lot of people aren't smart or not alpha males these days is because of government TV, propaganda, censorship, etc. And if they want to continue censoring the world, there's going to be less and less alphas. In fact, there's going to be less and less more and more betas, more and more shaved people, demeaning the lion, the freedom, the manliness, the ability to just be that alpha male full of testosterone. You can't be that if you're going to be shaved, working your corporate slave job. You can't be an alpha male. In fact, you are not an alpha male if you work at a gas station making $10 an hour, wearing a mask. You're not an alpha male. Shaving your face because you can't have a beard. Got to look more corporate slavery-ish. No, have your beard. You have elements of your beard that's manly. It's making you a more of a man. It's giving you more testosterone. It's giving you more insight. Get away from your screens. Grow out your hair. Stop being censored. And find programs. De-Google your phone. Find BitChute and things like that, which can take back our freedoms. Where we're not going to be censored. We're not going to be controlled. And as soon as YouTube fucks with me, or they've been fucking with me, as soon as YouTube completely shuts down my channel or gives me a strike or something, if they do something like that, I'm going straight to BitChute, where people can find me. And people are looking for people like me, you know, where we're basically modern day Jesuses. We're modern day saints. We're modern day lovers of mankind, freedom fighters, philosophers, moral philosophers, which is my favorite kind of philosophy. And we can take back our freedoms, and we can understand that the world is in our grasps. We have the power for this. Nope, they want to take that away from you. They want to censor that information. They have a propaganda of making sure that you are docile sheep, asleep, ready to take in any information at any time given to them by their anchor on TV, on the news channel, writing off their corporate slave bulletin for the day. Anyways, that's enough for this video. I want you guys to do one thing and one thing only. Stop being part of the propaganda. Get away from entertainment. Start adding responsibility to your life. That is one thing. Now, it's a ton of different things in one thing, but it's one method is what I'm trying to get at. One method. Start being more responsible. Get away from the censorship. If something is censoring you, stop putting your time and energy into it to serve that. If Walmart is censoring your smile because you need to wear a mask, if Walmart's censoring your smile, they don't want us to be happy next to each other. Stop supporting those businesses. Start going to a small business. And if that small business says, I do not respect your money because you do not wear a mask, that's just like saying to me, I don't accept your money because you're white. It's the same thing. It's just finding a little nitpicking thing that has nothing to do with reality because they've been deluded and brainwashed. And guess what? What we can help. Those people, I gotta make this short. Those people that are being convinced that viruses are bad more than ever and you know, 6 feet away, and they're convincing people to stay away from your friends and family during the holidays, during any time, and give up your grandma. You're never going to love your grandma again. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to hug your family because there's coronavirus. If you're going to be that dumb and censored and just full of propaganda and fear, that's what you're going to be. That's what they want. Problem, reaction, solution. They want you in a perpetual state of fear because you give up more of your freedoms and they take more power and control over not only your life, but the world's life, the economy. They run everything. And they don't need a war to do so. They don't need to invade a country to do so. All they have to do is essentially do the Chinese thing over America. Pay off a few politicians to become communist and support communism, and after a few decades, maybe a generation, China's going to rule that country. The small businesses is going to be all weeded out, and all of your businesses, all of your corporations and companies and jobs are going to be corporate jobs like Walmart, and it's all going to be products brought to you, shipped across the seas right from China or Beijing or whatever. And they're going to rule the economy because our politicians and corporations are going to want cheaper resources, cheaper things from China. So you're going to go buy your whatever it is, right, off China. Let's think, what's something you would buy from China? Damn near everything. I mean, just go to Walmart one day, and you'll understand how China run our country is. This is not a citizen-based country. This is 100% a corporate down, trickle-down, foreign country. Brought to you by the divided states of China. Go ahead. Censor me. You're giving me all the power in the world to show that I'm right. When you censored all that fact-checking things, it's because you don't want reality to strike the minds of people. You want them to be in a consistent state of virtual reality where you don't really understand left is right and up is down, and you're confused. In the Bible, it says the end of times, the people won't know what's up or down, what's left or right. Everything's going to be backwards. Did anyone see the beast? Does anyone see the beast yet? My idea for the mark of the beast was viruses. Where do viruses come from? Not people. From beasts. From animals. And I believe that they are that the end of times was talking about the beast being the vaccine. The mark of the beast being the vaccine. Because the beast is one thing. Then the mark of that beast is another thing. You look at ancient Egypt, where they're trying to put people together. You look at ancient Egypt, a lot of those mummies had measles or smallpox or different types of vaccinations. Someone putting 2 and 2 together? Does 2 and 2 equal 4, Opex? Does it really? The government or the TV corporate slavery does not want us to know those things. They've been working on vaccinations for thousands of years. I've told you guys before that they've written a book on vaccinations and the dangers of vaccinations in the 1800s. Vaccinations have been around for a long time. Putting that measles or whatever cut into somebody else. I've told you guys that vaccinations has been around for a while. Viruses have been around for a while. The word virus has been around for thousands of years. It literally translates into English as poison. They've had viruses for... Everyone knows about them, right? And they know that if you put a disease into someone, you only got it once. They knew that. You can't get it again. No one's ever had it again. So they knew that, right? So they didn't have to have 10 years of fucking medical school to figure this shit out. They knew that if you put one virus in somebody else, that yes, that was going to produce the effects, but you can have a weakened form of that virus. I don't know if you can see, do you see white dots on my shoulders? You see all those white dots? That was all across my back last year because I had an MMR. They put weakened versions of these viruses in your body, right? And you're, good luck, fight it off, right? And it's still spreading throughout my whole body. I had an MMR when I was a kid. Now, what does that tell you? Measles, mumps, and rubella as a kid, I had that. 20, 30 years later, 25 years later, whatever it was, I had to have another MMR. Had to. Bullshit. Propaganda. Sickness. That's what they want. They want you docile and sick. Because of that measles, mumps, rubella thing, it's spreading throughout my whole body. It started on my back, and it spread through my whole body. Or it's spreading. Now the farthest down is down to my elbow. I still don't see any of my forearm, but it's spreading across my back. Is my body able to fight this off the way they told me it would? No. There's dangers of vaccination. I now have a virus that is changing my genetics for the rest of my life. And if I'm ever in a state of, let's say if I was hungover, I don't drink, but if I was hungover, guess what's going to happen? All them viruses are going to pop out and become crazy. So I focus on strengthening my immune system. Wait, why are they censoring strengthening your immune system? Because they're trying to destroy your immune system. When they told the fact checkers on Facebook, HIV isn't in this vaccine. You know why? Technically, they're true. They're right. There is no HIV in the vaccine because there's no virus in the vaccine. Getting it now? There's no virus in the vaccine, but what it does to your body is very similar to HIV. It affects your immune system where it becomes extremely compromised, and then just about damn near a fucking anything can create havoc, wreak havoc across your body. Go ahead, censor this. Go ahead, censor this. Or share this to all your friends and family. And I'm going to continue giving you some real information, and I will never, ever censor myself. I don't care who's threatening me. I don't care. I will never censor myself. Ever. If a fat chick comes up to me and says, let's say I have a girlfriend and she's been gaining weight over the holidays, let's say. I don't have a girlfriend. This is hypothetical. And she's gaining weight over the holidays. I'm going to tell her, yeah, you've been gaining a little bit of weight. Because I'm doing way more harm than good by censoring myself. If I say, oh, baby, you're always beautiful. What desire is it then? What motivation is there to better yourself? There is no motivation. The fat levels are going to increase, right? Because now there's a false sense of reality that is bestowed upon the couple of me and my fat girlfriend during the holidays. Right? Oh, my girlfriend is a little chubby, I'm gonna say, yeah, you look chubby today. I don't give a fuck how that is meant to, how that's meant, how you take it. How you take it's up to you. If the sky is blue, I'm gonna say the sky is blue. I don't care if you're offended by it. I don't care if it's politically correct. Because guess what? I'm not political. I'm anti-politics. I'm the reality. I'm real. I'm not going to censor myself, and I'm not going to tell you to censor yourself. I'm telling you to avoid censorship because it's doing us more harm than good. It's creating delusions that have bestowed or taken place of reality. Anyways, that's enough for this video. I got to go and do some chores. I got plenty of things to do today, but I hope you guys got something out of this video. I'm sorry it was long. Stop that censorship. Of course, I could have definitely watched my other censorship videos where I talk more in depth about this stuff. But I'm just trying to explain to you what is more harm than good and trying to give you guys information. Information's information, period, right? Whether it's real or fake, that is for us to figure out through evidence, through philosophy. That's how we figure out what's real and what's not real. What's more apt to be real than fake, right? And we got to compartmentalize these things. Put it into different categories in our brain. What's real and what's false. And if you fail to do that, then 90% of what you say plus is going to be hit or miss because you don't understand reality. You have never used logic, reason, understanding, experience, because you've never applied these methods. Therefore, someone's a little victim of propaganda. Stay home. Stay 6 feet away. Wear a mask. Whatever you do not hug grandma. I know she's in desperate need of companionship. She's in desperate need of help. The government is trying to murder her. And there you are. Fuck grandma. Let her fucking ride in hell. Go fucking hug your grandma. Go hug her. Give her a hug. Show her how much you love her. Smile. Let her see your smile, your authentic smile. Show her those things. She needs you now more than ever. She needs you now more than ever. And your beloved government is trying to murder her. Oh, isn't that cute? Put reality at the forefront. Get away from entertainment. Get away from your screens. Stop being censored. Get away from anyone who censors you. If Walmart doesn't want you in their store because you don't wear a mask, you shouldn't want to be in that store. Unless you're a little beta male with a tiny dick, I don't know what to tell you. If you are going to continue going to Walmart and you don't like wearing a mask, that's because you're a little pussy. There is no other answer. I have looked for it. You are literally, I've thought about it. If you are intelligent to think for yourself, and you walked into Walmart without a mask, and you can't walk into Walmart without a mask is what I meant, then you're stuck being a pussy. You don't have any backbone. You don't have any strength. You don't understand reality enough to say this is reality. Because how I look at it is when I go to China Mart, Walmart, when I go there, I don't walk in. I don't give them a penny. Because there's absolutely no good from me giving them more money. I always told you guys this, what you put money into will inevitably continue. If you keep shopping at Walmart or with masks on, this will continue. Now, if you stopped shopping with masks on and you stopped obeying all their stupid rules and their stupid shit they put on paper to take more of your money, to control you more and to murder your parents and eventually you and make sure you don't have offspring and stuff, that's what you're getting. If you're going to keep supporting those who are creating vaccines to murder the world's population, that's what you're going to keep getting. Guys, what you put money into will inevitably continue. So, if YouTube's bothering you about censorship, if Facebook's bothering you about censorship, there's people that created another platform very similar. Go back to MySpace. Oh, everyone's not on MySpace. If everyone's jumping off a bridge in Alaska in February into, it's a 50-foot drop from the bridge to a 6-foot sheet of ice because it's frozen winter, and everyone's doing it. Are you going to do it? It doesn't make any sense, right? I just don't get it. If you saw other people dying and then you see all these people with all these birth problems, and look at the evidence. It's right there. It's right there. If everyone's jumping off a bridge and getting injured or dying, don't be surprised if you get injured or die. Well, you can't be surprised if you die. You know what I'm getting at? So start using your brain. Stop being censored. Take control of your life. Be responsible. It's Opex. Got plenty more information coming your way in the next coming weeks, months, years, etc. And if you don't find me on YouTube for a while, check me out on BitChute because I might start uploading there. It's Opex. See you guys. This video is way too long, so we're going to stop here. I'm out. Bye, guys.